Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Apprentice, because I just felt like playing a high damage character, and of course this one gains damage every level. And this is also a character I've seen a lot of people say they're struggling with. The low HP on this character can be pretty challenging, especially on Crash Zone, which is the map that we've randomed here. So I think that this will be a pretty interesting run. There's a few ways you can play the Apprentice, which loses HP every level but gains damage. You can try to build around the fact that you gain all of the damage types for free and buy a weapon that scales off of multiple damage types. Lightning Shiv, Cacti Club, Torch, or Plank. These are all totally reasonable options for the character. You can also build just based on the fact that you have a lot of free range damage. Just build a normal gun build and play it kind of like the Wounded, but with a higher economy than the Wounded. Just really high damage, high range, and everything. But I think that the most natural weapon to pick for the character is the Slingshot. It scales off of flat ranged damage really well, which we're getting for free, and with the primitive weapon tag, it gives us 15 health. So that offsets the downsides of the Apprentice pretty nicely, while playing into the upsides. And that's exactly what you always want from a weapon. You want it to accentuate the upsides of the character and mitigate the downsides. This does both. Here, I'm just going to take 5 attack speed. We don't need to take range damage. I could take 3 max HP, but I want enough attack speed to actually be able to kill stuff with our slingshots. And when we're scaling our flat damage, attack speed will multiply that high number very effectively. And a lock baby gecko, because we're going to be leaving materials all over. This is Crash Zone, so I'm going to ban the Corrupted Shard. Claw Tree I'm going to ban as well, and then we'll roll, buy another Slingshot, lock a Scar, and roll. Slingshots can be somewhat hard to find, because it's a primitive weapon. It belongs to the largest weapon tag, so you're usually going to find either 3 or 4 total in the first wave. We were on the luckier side and found 4, so that's a nice start for sure. Killing a high health enemy like the Gobbler can be pretty tough, so I wanted to make sure that I focused it down before it ate all our materials that wave. Here I'm just going to take 5 harvesting. Gaining levels gives us damage, so we want to do that. And then we're going to reroll and buy a slingshot. Reroll. Okay, nice. We got 6 slingshots. That's definitely on the high end, I think, for a primitive weapon. So a little lucky there. Important, I think, to recognize when you get lucky in some way. You always are more likely, because this is how the human brain works, you're more likely to recognize when something goes wrong. So it can be helpful to take a step back when something good happens in a game or just elsewhere, and focus on the fact that that good thing happened. I'm going to pick up the slingshot, we'll take the Scar, take the baby gecko. I'm going to ban Jelly, because I don't really intend to change my weapon set, and this gets me a free reroll. I'll also lock the Lumberjack shirt and the Ugly Tooth. Ugly Tooth is really nice for slingshot builds. It can keep the elites off us while we're killing everything else with the bouncing shots. And then we'll lock a slingshot. Because I should have enough money to buy these 3 items, I'm also going to lock the snake, and then we can ban it and save a tiny amount of money on rerolling next wave. Now, this is going to be the challenge for this build. We're going to have very low HP, and these enhanced flies are going to be producing a lot of projectiles. We don't really have control over whether we're attacking them or not, so our slingshots are going to be generating a lot of potential danger for us. I need to get my damage high enough that we can kill them in 1 or 2 hits, so that they generate the fewest projectiles possible. And I take the 9 dodge here. Dodge isn't great for this character typically because our health is really low. So dodge is better when you are multiplying a higher number with it. But I think it's still worth grabbing 9 dodge when you see it early. And then I'm going to roll here. Small fish, and I'm going to ban fresh meat we'll take because we want high lifesteal. This weapon, of course, works really well with lifesteal thanks to the multiple bounces. And then we're going to the next wave. Now, although we get a bunch of flat range damage for free, we're still going to take more when we see it cheaply. So items that we're looking for are things like small magazine, we're looking for coffee, we're looking for max HP, like broken mouth. Any of those types of items are really strong for us, so that's the type of thing that we're kind of focusing on here. I'm going to take the attack speed over the max HP. Yes, this character loses maximum health, so you need to take a bunch of it, but attack speed is so important, especially in the early game. You can pick up engineering items like the turret. We could have bought it, because you do get engineering for free. And I'd take a pocket factory, but I just don't think it's worth buying turret. I'll take a slingshot here. Clockwork Wasp is very expensive for the movement speed, so although I need it, I'm just going to reroll, because I'm really trying to upgrade my weapons. I don't like losing luck, but I will take the Terrified Onion to get to positive move speed. It's just a very cheap way to do it, and then we can lock a slingshot here. One nice thing about this build on Crash Zone, of course, is that assuming we get enough damage to kill the summoners quickly, they should be, the summons quickly, they should be relatively free, because those enemies are just about having a lot of splash damage and high ranged damage to clear the summons, and we should be able to do that. Oops. Taking that hit was pretty bad, and I do want some regeneration as well as my lifesteal. My lifesteal is good, but it's not reliable on its own for this type of build, I think. So I want both healing stats. Slingshot has 2x crit damage, so you can buy crit chance, and we will here. And then here, I'm just going to take the 2 ranged damage. Yes, we are getting that for free, but Slingshot scales really well off of ranged damage, so we're just going to pick it up. Sunglasses, I could take. It costs a lot of armor, or rather, costs 1 armor, which is a highly impactful amount of armor to lose. Even 1 armor is really dangerous to lose. But I think it's enough damage early enough. We should be able to play around it. I'm going to pick it up. We'll buy the beanie here, and then we'll roll, and we can buy another slingshot, lock another one. And Scared Sausage is really good for this character, because we get all this elemental damage for free. So this is just an additional damage source for us, which we don't have to invest in at all, and it's still going to provide value. Similarly, pets. We can buy all of the kinds of pets and get value from those, except for the rat, of course, which scales off max health, which we don't have on this character. So I want a little more maximum health, obviously, but now I need to start heavily skewing my purchases towards making sure that I have enough defensive stats to survive a hit or two. Right now, we really don't. And our damage will continue to scale on its own, so I don't need to invest too heavily in boosting that. Here I'm going to take the 9 HP, 3 range damage or 3 armor, also really tempting, but we're the Apprentice, so we need the extra health. We'll buy Scar, Slingshot, and Scared Sausage, and then I'm shy of being able to buy the Ritual, but we can buy another Scar and reroll, lock a Slingshot, lock a tree, and we'll take Defective Steroids as well, because it's worth maximum health. So even though we can't use the ranged damage and the loss of attack speed is painful, max HP is that important on this character. This wave is always going to be a bit of a challenge for a slingshot build. It can be hard to kill these single target, these like high health single targets with this weapon, because it's mostly AoE damage. So I messed up my movement as well, and I'm going to have to play a little safer for the end of the wave there. We did survive, though. I can take 12 Harvesting. That is still nice to get at this point, but I think I just want more damage. So I'm going to take the crit chance, and then here I'll take 4 regen, try to get some actual healing going. I will buy everything this wave, and then roll, and we'll lock a level 3 slingshot. Lighthouse, if I had like a pocket factory, maybe I would take the lighthouse, but I'm not that interested in it right now. We just don't have anything that cares about engineering. This wave, as always, we wish we had piercing shot. The AoE from the bounce is good, but piercing shots would really help us be a lot safer on this wave. I don't think we have any horde waves, so we don't have to worry about that, but it would be nice to have it for horde waves if we did have any. And I could just be misremembering what bosses we have. I haven't looked at it specifically. Picking up some healing there, and then we'll get a little bit more. Trying to make sure I'm picking up at least a few of the materials. And we'll make a run for the center of the map near the end of the wave, assuming that I have the health to support that. I didn't, unfortunately, so I had to run away. Weird food is great. I'll take a bonk dog. Like I said, this character can use off damage strategies, just not the normal damage types that you're building, very efficiently. So we're very happy to see that. Buy a black belt and buy this and this. Duct tape I do really want, but I don't think I can afford to reduce my health at this point, so I'm just going to ban it here. And then I'll roll. Bowler hat, just not what we need. This character has so much economy. You just need to focus on making sure that your damage is high enough. We'll take the banner, and then I will roll. Peaceful Bee, I don't really want. Wisdom I can buy, and yeah, we do have 3 elites. Wisdom I can buy because I think our damage output's going to be a little slow on the elite waves. So that can help potentially kill the elites for us. This is level 15, which I'm probably going to have to spend on max HP. I will say that this build hasn't come together quite as well as I would have liked. At this point, my defensive stats are still pretty bad, and my offensive stats are okay, and but not as good as you would hope for on the Apprentice. I think a combination of not amazing luck in the shop, and then also maybe a couple missed purchases, though I can't think of any items that really stand out. The bonk dog, I guess, could have maybe been something else. Here, I'm going to roll. I need max HP, so I'm just going to take that, and then we'll take 3 lifesteal. That'll help a lot going into this elite wave. And then we can upgrade our slingshot, buy wisdom, we'll buy the whistle, we'll roll here. I'm going to take some more regeneration off of the mushroom, and then roll one more time. And I'll buy the cake. Head injury I do want. We have negative 14% damage. Obviously, that's going to be offset by the wisdom, but still, we want to improve that. And I wouldn't mind getting some extra range, but glasses is such an inefficient item that we're not going to do it that way. This shouldn't be a bad wave for us, or this should be a good elite for us, because it's mostly about killing the eggs. And with slingshots, it's easier to do that. Now, I really want to get this consumable because I took a hit from the enhanced spitter, and those are, of course, super, super dangerous. The tentacles are rough, though, because they put a lot of health onto the field, which our slingshots can bounce off of. And because I messed up my movement and took a couple extra hits there, I should still be able to kill the elite. I just need to get close to it again, but I made this wave harder than it needed to be by walking into those attacks. Now that the elite is gone, though, there's a lot less health around, which means that we're able to clear the rest of the wave much more easily. We'll take the spyglass. Obviously, the economy boost is nice, but the range is also pretty relevant, like I mentioned, for this character. Losing regen and lifesteal is painful, but 3 armor is too good to pass up, and then I'm going to roll here, take 15 attack speed, and then I'll take 2 lifesteal. I want to keep this around like 15 or so. I'll buy head injury. I currently have 2 consumable heal, so I will take the alien worm. I just need positive consumable heal, and it's very, very important that I boost my max HP. I do have a scared sausage. Do I want to buy the eye surgery? I think the damage output is too low to focus on that. Baby squid is pretty nice. I'm going to take that. We have a lot of XP gain. And then we'll lock Catling gun because we're building range damage for free. I'm going to pass on the fish hook. I actually don't want cursed enemies in this run. And I have 20 ranged damage, so I think I'm going to roll past the hedgehog. If it was a better range damage item, maybe I would take it, but hedgehog is kind of inefficient. So what we're really hoping for is just a big HP boost, something like an octopus, Kraken's eye, something like that. I probably wouldn't take it because I still want to upgrade my weapons, but not is one of the best items we could find. Maybe the best item at level 3 or lower that we could find. Just fixes every problem that this build has. We'll take the silver bullet. That's great. And then I'm going to re-roll here. I could maybe build more dodge, but I think, or take an armor, but I think we can do better. And I'll take 10% attack speed. And then here I'm going to roll for max HP. Though, since I didn't find it, I'll take 3 armor. We do need more armor as well. I'm going to buy these items and then re-roll. And bowler hat I'm still passing on. I'm going to roll again. I'll take a bag, and we'll take tentacle, alien tongue. I don't think we care about it that much. And then I'm going to buy these 3 items as well. I'm leaving materials on the ground, but pickup radius mostly doesn't actually help you pick up more materials. There's very few waves where the difference of a tiny increase in your pickup radius is the difference of whether you can reach a material or not. Much more important to be able to kill stuff to get to it. The difference, the thing that pickup radius actually gets you in practice is it helps you pick up consumable healing much more easily and without having to kill the enemies first, which matters a lot more. So typically, if a build is ranged and not super reliant on consumable healing, I think you should skip pickup radius. I think I've said this before, but I think judging by the comments on my videos, alien tongue is one of, if not maybe the most overrated item in the game. People always want me to take it, even when it would do almost nothing for the build. That's not to say that it doesn't have its place, but it's good for builds that are reliant on consumables. I'm going to take the tractor here. It does cost me 8% damage, but it pays for itself immediately and then obviously continues to gain value. Then I'm going to take 3 armor. I could be rolling for maximum health, which I do want, but the armor is very important as well. We'll buy everything in this shop. I'll take another baby squid, and that can be quite a lot of regen. And then I'm going to re-roll here. Alien magic, incredible, 8 HP, exactly what I was looking for. You don't need infinite health on this character. You just need enough that your super high damage can carry you without you dying to just taking the occasional hit. So staying around 40 or 50 is fine, but you do need to be at that threshold. Not having piercing shots again is hurting us a little bit here. We would be clearing the large groups of enemies a little more efficiently with Pierce. But also just more attack speed, more damage output would be very nice. Alright, well, okay. Second alien magic is great. We'll take the ice cube. We have the scared sausage. And then we'll take 3 more armor. Also amazing. I'm going to buy the baby squid, and I can buy both of these, right? Yeah, so we will, and then we'll reroll. Giant belt, that's going to help me kill elites even faster, because we actually have very high crit chance. And I'll take the bag. I think that the bag is good enough here. And in fact, I'm just locking this entire shop. I have negative 13 luck, which is pretty unusual for me. I am glad that we got an elite this wave, which should be a relatively easy wave, rather than wave 16, which is going to be a really, really hard wave. So that worked out well for us. Got a lucky dodge there as well. But as you can see, I'm able to clear the summons pretty easily, thanks to the bouncing shots. That was a tough elite to fight, but we took it out. The scapegoat, it's, I think, a little better for this character than for other characters, but I really don't want the enemies acting unpredictably. I'm going to take it here just because I like the item. I think it's fun. I don't think that it tends to do that much, and sometimes it's actually a downside to have it. But I would still want to get more reps with it so that I can see whether that's correct. I'm going to take 2 flat damage here, even though, again, we build a lot of flat damage on this character, because what I want is to be able to one-shot the flies this wave. They're what I'm most worried about in this run. Take the loot worm. Metal, still worth taking, even though we're buying giant belt, of course. And then I'll roll one more time, and we'll go to the next wave. So this wave is going to be really challenging because the enhanced flies will create a ton of projectiles, and our defensive stats are not great. Now, I do have enough damage that at least the first 2 only made 2 shots each. That one made 4. What you want to avoid is having low enough damage output that they're making more than 4 each. 4 is usually sustainable. But more than that can be pretty tough. I want to resurrect my scapegoat here. Again, mostly just for fun. Though, it was pretty risky to go for that, to be honest. So this wave, we're going to be kind of stuck in the corner. Basically, what you want to do on the fly wave is clear them out as soon as they spawn on wave 16. Clear them out as soon as they spawn, until around 15 seconds before the end of the wave, which is when a huge wave of them starts showing up. And then when that happens, you want to retreat to the corner and just make very small movements. The projectiles move slowly, so if you move just a little bit, you can usually dodge them. Alright, so we're definitely taking all of these items. I guess I'll buy these 2 because I can afford both. And then we'll roll. I'll buy a slingshot and lock a bonk dog. Black belt at this point I'm not as interested in. And maybe the bonk dogs just aren't great. I mean, their damage is still pretty low. I will say that because I made it through the mid-game, the build has come back together. So when I was saying I felt a little weak in the mid-game, that's kind of the nature of the Apprentice, where you need to wait for your super high damage scaling to kick in. and you need to buy some defensive stats while you're waiting for that to happen. So that's part of why we felt a little weak in the mid game, and now that we've gotten to the end game, we're feeling super strong because this character has a really, really strong end game. Yeah, I'll keep taking more lifesteal. I'll take 12% more damage. I'll buy the cape here, because that gets me to 30 dodge, which isn't bad. And we'll buy the bonk dog. It can maybe help kill the elite. We'll lock these things, and then because I'm buying those other three, I'm going to ban the compass. Finally use our last ban and get a reroll there. So I do have wisdom, but this elite, the scapegoat, is actually really good against, because instead of charging past us, it's charging past the scapegoat, which lets me actually focus damage on it a little more. Though, taking a couple hits in a row put me in kind of a rough spot, and I had to back off from fighting the elite for a bit. Fortunately, because we're using slingshots as our weapon, backing off from fighting the elite means we're still clearing the rest of the wave, and still putting damage on the elite. I do think that Scapegoat should have some form of healing, like if you're standing on it, it should regenerate before it dies, something like that. I mean, it's such a cool item, and I wish it were good. So I'd like to see something that would help it out a bit more. I'm just going to take some more damage there, and then we'll buy these items. Ban this one, because I have enough move speed. We'll roll Warrior Helmet. Perfect find for us. And then we'll roll again, and I'll buy the bat. Do I want the hedgehog? I think so. We have 31 range damage, but more is going to be helpful for trying to kill the bosses just that little bit faster. And this wave is a pretty clean one. We're mostly just focusing on killing the buffing aliens before too many enemies get buffed, because of course that multiplies the total amount of health on the field, making it harder to actually kill stuff. I think the bouncing shots killed the loot alien. I didn't see. Maybe I shouldn't have taken the scope there, actually. I took it, because usually when you're playing a ranged build and it shows up in a box, it's fine. I'll take the eye surgery, actually. I talked about this earlier, and when it's not full price, I think it's worth buying. I'll buy 3 lifesteal here, and then I'll roll, and Baby with a Beard is great, but I think I want the little muscly dude more. Is that right? This can help clear lots of enemies, but we care more about killing the bosses, so I think I'm just taking the HP. And then I'm going to roll, and I'll take a spicy sauce as well. Reroll again, just for fun. I would have loved the lemonade, and the tree would be nice as well, but 61 health, I just feel a lot more confident going into the boss fight. And Baby with a Beard just isn't necessary in this wave, which is all about dealing with 2 really high health enemies. The bouncing shots will take care of the rest of the enemies, but fewer enemies spawn in the boss wave than in other waves, so we don't need AoE damage as much. So despite it being a great item for the character and for the run, Baby with a Beard we're not taking. I also almost threw the run there, just by taking 3 hits in a row. Which you can still do on the Apprentice. It is still possible to just throw the run. So yeah, I'm glad I bought that extra health, because I'd have died without it. That was a pretty bad movement at the end, but we got there. Alright, so we ended up level 29, so that's 28 free points of damage. No, 29 free points of damage from the Apprentice, because you start level 0. Which is amazing, of course. And then we ended up with 36 ranged damage. as a result of that. 4 scars were, of course, integral. We had double baby gecko, which helped with a slingshot build. 32k damage on the scared sausage, so not incredible, but certainly not terrible. 75k damage on the double bonk dog. So I mentioned a couple times that these might be a bit of a weak link, but they performed okay. Spyglass saved us 92, though the tooltip for Spyglass is wrong, we learned recently. Baby squids for 18 regen, a little lower than I thought, given that we got one of these pretty early, but unless you get them really early, most of your levels are gained early in the run, so they're going to have less value, but still, 18 regen for 2 items is amazing. Silver Bullet helped a lot. This also, if I hadn't had it, I'd have died against the bosses because of my messed up movement at the end there. But that's why you build your character well, so that if you mess something up, you can still win. Part of what got me there was the giant belt meant that we had really good damage against them at the start of the wave, and that led me to overestimate how quickly I was going to kill them, so I just walked into the attacks. But that was worth 50k. Bags were worth 300. Only 32 healing from tentacles. Pretty low, but that just means we were killing stuff too fast to need to heal. And then 92 materials from the loot worm. Scapegoat should show how much damage it took. I think that would be fun as well. Alright, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.